everyone, it's Michelle from Scrap Secrets and welcome to another Sketch Sunday video. So this week's sketch comes to you from my favorite things. And before I get started, no, you guys aren't going crazy. It is not Sunday yet. It is a holiday weekend and I thought that I would get this video up. I wanted to do the sketch challenge this week and be able to do the video and the blog post so that I could enter the sketch challenge. But I also wanted to be able to send one of my very good friends a congratulations card. She just got a new job yesterday, so I'm so excited for her. So I thought that I would kind of kill two birds with one stone by doing the challenge and making her a card. So I apologize, I do not have the actual sketch with me. I will link it below in the more information section, but I did do a very crude drawing, so please excuse my artwork. It's actually quite terrible. I did this really quickly last night as I was trying to get downstairs to watch some more TV. So I was doing the sketches in front of the TV last night and pulling out stamps. So this is the actual sketch, and if you guys have never seen the way I do a sketch Sunday, this is usually how I do it. I draw off the sketch terribly, as you can see, and then I pick out my stamps and my dies and stencils and whatever else I want to use, and I just kind of start drawing ideas. So I started here and I didn't really like the way that was going, so I came down here and I think this is the concept we're going to go with. It'll probably turn out a little bit different because it usually does, but this is the general idea. So as we go through, I will tell you what I've done. I've already done some of the steps because it's mainly cutting things out of the Cuttlebug and I didn't want to waste time and bore you guys. So the first thing that I did was I used the Cuttlebug, like I said, to cut out a bunch of the Dynamics. So I used the in and out stitched rectangle dies. So this is the smallest, and this one is the largest, so I used both of those. So this is going to be the first layer on our card, and this is going to be the top layer on our card. And then I also used some more Dynamics. This is called Office Space, I think? Office Supplies. It reminds me of the movie Office Space, which is one of my absolute favorite movies. So I used this piece, and this piece can be either the back of a clipboard, because there's the clipboard piece up here, or it can be used for an envelope. So we have the envelope die here. It can also be used as a piece of paper. You have the paper clips and little tabs and reinforcers, two different size paper clips. This is actually a paper clip cut out that I did that I'm keeping in here. And then there's also this piece which embosses, which I did use that. So I'm going to show you real quick. This is the top of the envelope. And I wanted to put the line in there, and I know that it's really faint, but once we do some distress ink with this, it's not going to look so faint. So then I cut out the top of the envelope, so we're going to put that on there. And then I use the actually, I'll show you the largest die. This is going to be the background piece. I'll show you in a minute what we're doing with that. And then I use this middle piece. So what's interesting about these dies, everyone except the very largest one, cuts an interior piece, which is this, and then when you run it through, it'll cut out an exterior piece. So this was actually on here like this. So this top piece right here was attached to the remainder of the white cardstock. So I kind of just cut it out. So with one pass, you get an interior piece, and then a piece that's left on there has the stitching on it. So it's actually pretty cool. It's almost like two pieces in one. So we're actually not going to use this. I'm going to save this for another project. So I did cut a piece out that was 2 1/4 by 3 1/2 because we're going to do some stamping on that and kind of make this the frame. Because I realized that when I cut out that other piece that I just said I was going to hold on to, it was too small for the stamp that I wanted to use. So we're going to be using the coordinating stamp set that's called At the Office, and we're going to be using You're Moving On Up. Right there. There's a bunch of really cute stamps for work and actually for planning, and you can do some stuff like that. You can use the circle, the arrow, the underline. They can make that a highlight, the squiggly, from the desk of memo, the arrow. It's actually some really, really cute stamps on here, and I don't think I've ever actually used this set before. So For the envelope, I thought that I had some craft cardstock, and it turns out that I didn't have one that I really, really wanted. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some tea-dye distress ink, and I'm going to show you how you can change plain white cardstock into something pretty cool. So I'm just going to lightly go over this. And you want to use a light hand and start off the paper. If you don't, and I'm sorry, you probably can't see since I'm right-handed and I'm holding the paper down. You probably can't see that well. You want to make sure you start off the paper because you don't want to get any harsh lines with distress inks. And where you press harder, you're going to get a darker color. The lighter you press, the lighter the color is. There's so many different things you can do with distress ink. If you haven't heard of them or seen any videos with them, they react with water. They give you different kinds of effects. They're very easy to blend together with other colors. You can do a lot of techniques with this. One of my favorite things that I do with distress ink is to actually watercolor with it. But unfortunately, since I am moving, I have my heat gun packed away, and I like to heat emboss an image before I actually watercolor. Okay, so now if you look at this, you really, really can't tell that seam is down the middle. So what we're going to do, and we're going to try this, take some vintage photo, which is a little bit darker, and I'm going to very, very gently go over it. Let's see if you can see that. Just make it a little bit darker. It's not really working. You're not really going to be able to tell that it's there. But we got a little bit of a darker envelope. And like I said, you can go back and forth between the colors, and they blend so nicely. So you can take your time and go back in and fix the colors and make it look exactly how you want it. So another thing I like to do is actually to distress around the edges. Just go around, kind of make the edges a little bit darker and make them stand out a little bit more. This will help if your background color is similar to the image. It also gives cuts that you make with the silhouette or the cricket a 3D effect. It gives it a little bit more dimension, and it gives it some shadow. Okay, so honestly, if I was going to do it again, I probably would not have done the score mark down the middle. I mean, it's nice and you can see it in person, but on the video it doesn't do very much. So quickly we're going to do the top of the envelope, and unfortunately I creased it already. So what you can do with small pieces like this, you can actually just color on the original paper and then cut it out. It's probably easier to do it that way. You can also put some temporary adhesive on the back of this so that it'll stay down. But unfortunately, I did not do that. So it's going to look like an envelope that has been through the mail several times. So we're just going to go around the edges. Now if you wanted to give it more of a distressed look, you can go over and any lines will start to show, any of the creases. If you want the top of your envelope to be a little bit darker, use more of the vintage photo distress ink. So that's what it looks like. So I think it looks pretty realistic actually. Almost looks like a manila envelope. So one of the things that you want to make sure that you do is clean off your work surface, because your project will pick up the ink, and I also try to clean off my hands. Now you might want to move that envelope away because, like I said, the distress inks will react with water. so you want to be very, very careful. Okay, so I think the surface is pretty cleaned off. So we are going to put this envelope to the side. So now the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to take my Martha Stewart scoreboard, and I've already cut the 120-pound cardstock down to 4 1/4 by 11 inches. So I want to score at 5 1/2 inches. And I'm doing a top folding card. And then what I want to do is take my bone folder and burnish the crease. So you get a nice crease. Okay. Put that off to the side. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to use the background stamp. So we're using this My Favorite Things paper background stamp. It is called Notebook Paper Background. And I used my color swatch, which is right here. All the inks that I have, I used the same stamp and inked them up so that I could see what colors I needed real quickly. And I wrote on the back the maker and the color of the ink, and then I have all my inks organized over top of my workstation so that I can find them easily. So I wanted to take the largest rectangle die that we used, and I wanted to stamp on the back of it, and I wanted to use the paper as well as stamp the paper image on this small piece, the 2 1/4 by 3 1/2 piece that we have. Now, what I don't want to do is I don't want to get it on these pieces. So what I'm going to do, and normally I would take the paper and put it on top of the background stamp, but I'm not going to do that this time, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some washi tape, and I'm just going to tear it down the middle, so 2 pieces, and I'm going to put it on my arms lightly. This just takes away some of the stick, and I'm going to take the non-ripped edge and put it as close to the stitch or the little embossed piece as I possibly can. This will help to protect the area when I go to apply my stamp. And if I put this on properly, none of the ink should transfer over onto the area that I am protecting. Just because I said it should work doesn't always mean that it does, because sometimes I don't line things up properly. Done that before. The reason that you want to take the stick off of the washi tape is so that it does not rip your paper. If the washi tape is not real sticky, but it will tear your paper. It can tear your paper. You can also use painter's tape, or they have that medical tape. If you need to tape your finger or something, or a bandage, you can use that tape too. Okay. So, now I'm going to ink this background stamp up with Hero Art Shadow Ink in Mid-Tone Cornflower. So I want to get the dots on the side, and obviously I don't need to ink up the whole background stamp because I don't need the whole background, but I do want to get the holes in there. You can press it down. Sometimes I use a bone folder to go over it. I think this time I'm going to use an ink pad, just to kind of transfer the ink. I've never done this way before. Like I said, I usually bring the paper to the stamp, not the stamp to the paper. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it turns out okay. And I think it did. It looks like it turned out pretty well. So now I'm going to carefully remove the washi tape. And I can always save that for later. Oh, it came out so cute. And the nice part about it is my stitch lines, which I will show you, are completely saved. Look at that. So what I could do is go over this top line here with a pink marker. Now the top of the paper has pink. I was thinking about doing that, but I didn't even bother this time. So we're also going to do this little piece, but all I want is the lines. I don't really care about the dots right now for this. So we're going to ink up a portion of this. And again, I don't need to ink the whole entire stamp up. We're using the exact same color ink. And I have 2 chances to do this in case my lines do not line up very straight. Okay, and so I'm just going to take the scratch paper piece of paper that I had my design on and run my hands over it so it doesn't get inky. Or too inky, too more inky than my hands already are. Okay, so let's see how this came out. Cute, it looks like a little index card. So I'm going to put this to the side, and they're semi-straight. So we're going to have this piece, we're going to have the envelope, so you're not really going to see much of this paper, and I was fine with that. I just wanted to have a little bit of a design on the background. And then we're going to have the piece of paper that's going to go over it with the border. So, okay. It's coming together really cute, I think. I don't know what you guys think, but I think it's cute. Okay. So now for the stamping. So we're going to be using that You're Moving On Up stamp. So I want You're Moving On in one color and Up in another. So what I can do, sometimes I just reuse the washi tapes. All we're going to do is put some over the U. So when we ink this stamp up, the up isn't going to get ink on it. So I want to do that in pink. Now you don't have to put the washi tape on there. If you think that you can do it without the washi tape, that's great. Most people probably can. But see, I even got some on the U, even though I used the washi tape. Kind of just want to line it up. And I didn't get a really good stamped impression, and I got a little bit of the line there, but I'll show you how to fix that in a minute. So now we're going to spray this down. Try to make sure all the ink is off of it. And we're going to ink the up part in purple. No, sorry, that pink is My Favorite Things Razzleberry ink, and the purple is Hero Art Shadow Ink Grape Juice in Midtone. Part of that U did not get inked up very well. So I'm going to see if I can okay. It may just look distressed. It's just going to look a little bit distressed. So you're moving on up. So now what we can do for that little bit of pink is I like to take a white gel pen. And sometimes you can disguise or the color with a little bit of white gel. If not, we can try to figure out something else to do with it. But I think that it got disguised pretty well. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take actually the frame kind of disguises it as well. So we're going to take my Zig 2-way glue pen, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue around the outside edges of this frame. So there you go. Ooh. Let's make sure that's stuck down. Okay, so now we are going to do the same thing with the flap of the envelope. Put it down. And decided if I'm going to put this on, I think I might put the envelope on a little bit crooked and then just put the piece on like this. I think that's what I'm going to do. And since the envelope is a little bit of a bigger piece, I'm going to use my Zig 2-way, or not my Zig 2-way glue pen, sorry, my ATG, which is almost out of tape. To put it on at a slight angle, and then just put some more glue down. I don't think that I put enough glue on this. Hopefully I have enough ATG left in this to glue this piece down. That's it. You can put that on there. And I think I might actually want to put the pink line on that one, just because it looks really, really plain, and it looks like the paper might actually be upside down. So we're going to use a pink marker. And hopefully, I hope I don't screw this up. There you go. Added the top line to it, and that brings the pink in a little bit more. I don't know. I'm trying to decide whether I should put a layer behind it or just leave it like this. I think I might just leave it like that because that's nice and plain. What do you think? Okay. So, well, that's pretty much the final card. I'm going to decide if I'm going to put a piece of paper behind it or not. I'm going to actually pick a couple different colors of cardstock and see what I like. So I will post the pictures for the final card on my blog, and you can let me know if you like it with or without the cardstock, if I choose to put any on. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have comments or questions, please feel free to leave them below. And if you're not a subscriber, please feel free to subscribe. Every Sunday there is a Sketch Sunday, almost every Sunday. And then I do other cards throughout the week. I do hauls and other project videos. So please join me in my next video. I'll see you guys soon. Bye! Okay, so I'm back. So after I finished this video, I went and I looked at my scrap pieces of paper, and I thought that the card needed a little bit more purple because the up was the only thing on the card that was purple, and that was really bothering me. So I found some purple Leopard cardstock. So I just think it gives it a kind of funky little bit of an edge, and because we put the pink up there and most of the sentiment is pink, I thought we needed to tie a little bit of the purple in so the purple wasn't just floating out there. So there is the finished card. I am going to stamp congratulations inside and then write her a note. But that is the card. So tell me what you guys think, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye!